Am I tearing up? I'm so excited. Mhm. This time around, Black Americans came for Africans. See, I'm African, like I'm an African woman, but I'm excited because I keep saying this, right? Too much of calmness is bad. It's bad. You know, a lot of immigrants, a lot of Africans have really been whining their mouth. Jamaicans, a lot of them, Somalians, on Black Americans, east, west, north, and south. And literally, it's just looking like because they are quiet, they don't know what they are doing. But I found clips. I found clips that yes, Black Americans too. If you say your head is hot, their own head is hot as well. They came for Africans, right? And they said a lot of things that, as far as I'm concerned, I know that a lot of people will be like, "You're an African, why are you even saying this?" I don't care. Like, I don't care. But as far as I'm concerned, these things they said that you guys are about to watch in this video, honestly, they are correct. They are correct. Me, one thing I will never do is support evil. I cannot see evil because I'm African and I'll be like, "Oh, Black Americans are wrong. Black Americans," like, I will not try it. And I hope this video gets to a lot of Africans, especially Africans staying in America, so that they can actually learn to put themselves together and understand the pains of these people and know exactly what they need to do. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we're going to be having in our today's episode. With that being said, let's watch this video and I'll be back with commentaries.
The reason why y'all speak about Black Americans like this is because of insecurities. Y'all have been occupied and colonized by the British, by a variety of other groups. And that only existed for maybe, I believe that region maybe over 100 years. And if you were to look into the recent studies, I think that came out a few years ago, Nigeria has the highest rates of skin bleaching, meaning at the motherland, when in touch with all of the culture and roots, white supremacy, triumph, that culture, that's at home. But look at Black Americans. Given that we live and operate under a culture that inspired Nazis, what was the response? The Black Power movement, a movement that inspired other parts of Africa, outside of the diaspora, in the United States. I believe Steve Biko, South Africa, like they mentioned, the Black Americans. They gave inspiration of embracing Black beauty. Mind you, again, this is a demographic that is in the Americas, out of the motherland, under white supremacy. Again, a culture that inherently is anti-Black, anti-African. And it was Africans that were looking to Black Americans for inspiration.
There are groups of people that will profit off of Black culture, all while punching down on the people that they're profiting off of. There's a saying, everybody wants to be Black until it's time to be Black. Let's have a conversation about it. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who've both been victims or perpetrators of abuse. And one of the things that I want to talk about is this phenomenon, of course, without mentioning any names. And somebody had asked me to kind of talk about this in my comments. So I'll kind of do a 2-for-1 here. And, unfortunately, there are people, whether it be, music artists, whether it be actors and things like that, people, influencers and people like that will profit. Their whole identity is basically based off of cultural appropriation, which is essentially stealing all of the things that Black people are demonized for and wearing it like it's a costume, and they're profiting off of it. And unfortunately, they're able to get away with this because Black people co-sign, Black people endorse it. But they also get endorsements from their own community. And so the same things we get demonized for, big lips, big butt, big boobs, AAVE, clothes, things like that. A white person will take it, a Latin person, Hispanic person will take it and, oh, they're so beautiful, they're so exotic, and, it's Viking braids, it's all these things. And, it's amazing to me. So for example, and I'll take a show, Love and Hip Hop, which is originally thought of as for the, black community, hip hop community. Back in my day, I watched it, maybe, I think I was like 20, maybe when I watched it. But, over the years, they have put a lot of Hispanic people on that show, and the Hispanic people have been able to reap the benefits of black people's labor, all while being abusive to black people on and off that show. And, it's interesting to watch that sort of play out now, where there's sort of like this relational aggression against black women when they speak out about, hey, you're actually causing harm to the people who support you, which are black people. You're actually causing harm. You're being phobic. You're being this and you're being that. And this people's own community will turn against them to support an appropriator. And I don't know, I kind of have to wonder, like, when are people going to get tired of that? When are people going to say that, hey, enough is enough? Like that's not cool. And that there's no way that, first of all, that people should be able to wear our features and just sort of insert themselves in our community when it's beneficial for them and then dip out and, but still be able to profitize off of it, often more than, people within the community itself. There's something totally ass backwards about that. And like people still lining up in droves to support that person and, even, backlash against black people in their community when they speak out about the injustices, when they speak out about like, hey, this isn't, we're not a costume. We're not, a community that you can come in and benefit off of and backbite and trash talk. But that's, people don't understand the value of a black dollar. And because unfortunately we become accustomed to investing our dollars that do not like and do not support us, but will build their entire careers off of appropriating and then later turning around and mocking us. We've got to stop doing that. We really have to, look at like some of the messages, that we support and, all the way from television to music to clothing to just our culture to like, I want to come in. I want to have, I have a non-black person say, I want to go and have kids with a black man because, our mixed babies are going to look so beautiful and this and that and the other. And like, I kind of want some blackness, but not all the blackness. And so it'll be a pretty version of blackness and this and that. And it's like, and there's so many other ways that this propaganda and this trope, is just so harmful for this community, but it's only because we allow it and we sit by and we support people who do this. We watch their shows. We support them on social media. We buy their stuff. We support their artistry. But it's propaganda. It's self-hating propaganda where people kind of want to come in and they steal parts of our identity and they think that they are better than us. But, again, I'm just a person that's on here talking and having my thoughts. But it angers me, because blackness is not true. Blackness is not a costume you can put on and take off whenever you see fit. It's not, it's not something that can be appropriated. It's not something that can be injected and, cosmetically put on. It's not, that's what it is. And so while people spew this hatred, please know that there's also a jealousy, an envy, a desire to covet what we have, all while punching down and trying to take it away from you. Again, that's the true essence of being a narcissist. Punching down, being envious of someone who has everything that you want, all while trying to hoodwink them and tell them that they're ugly for, what they have, or that they're illiterate, or that they're ignorant, or that they're stupid for having those things. Trying to wipe out being black while trying to be black. I'll get a load of that. So just my thoughts. I'm curious to know what you folks have to say about it as well. Thank you so much. Like, follow, comment, and share.
I find it funny. Everybody want to be black now that you gotta leave this country. Black Americans close their doors, and we're not allowing nobody in. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you for the segregation.
Like, front and center. Come here. I gotta talk to you. You're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing us. That halftime show was epic. It was a protest. It was art. It was rich in symbolism and lyrical genius, but you don't want to see that. And look, I know I'm setting myself up to catch a lot of heat for this. I really don't care. I'd rather it come to me than a lot of other people out there. So let's get going. There is nothing inherently wrong with disliking a certain type of music or a certain style of performance. You cannot like a certain type of music all you want. I'm not saying you have to think that Kendrick Lamar's music is the best thing since sliced bread. I myself don't personally listen to Kendrick Lamar. I know who he is because I'm a high school teacher, and if I don't know some of these things, then I'm going to get roasted on the daily, more than I already do. But it's not like I'm jamming out to him myself because I don't personally love just like pure rap. It's just not my favorite genre. But I'm also like, smart enough to know that there's a lot packed into some of these lyrics, more than you think and more than you're even able to understand on a surface level. Because if you're not used to listening to it and hearing what they're saying, myself included, it can be hard to even understand them. And that halftime show was just chock full of symbolism and clues and like little nuggets of Black culture. At the end of the day, we have to recognize that they have a culture that is unique to them and that cannot be replicated and cannot be fully understood by us unless we are willing to do a whole lot of work and listening to what they say. Now I've digressed because I'm onto culture, and that's not even what I intended to be talking about right now. What I was going to be talking about is the show itself. Okay, Samuel L. Jackson, Uncle Sam, telling him to calm down, to get it together, to not be so hyped up and ghetto. It's literally the message of America to Black people all the time. Calm down. Why do you have to be so extra? Why do you have to act like that? Why can't you just be more like us? They want, by they, I mean white America, seems to want every other culture to assimilate with us, not be who they are. We want to say, oh, we love everybody, we're colorblind. No, you're not. No, you're not. And the comments about last night's halftime show me exactly. That's all the proof I need. You ain't colorblind, and you never will because it's not possible. And it's okay to not be colorblind. In fact, it's preferable to acknowledge all the diversity and the differences that are out there because that's real life. This performance, beyond just the visual imagery of the American flag comprised of hooded Black dancers divided with Kendrick Lamar right in the middle, speaking to that division, right? Beyond Serena Williams coming out and doing her crip walk on stage, okay? Beyond the setup of the stage as one, a prison yard, and two, like a game, like a video game with the buttons, and very Squid Game-esque as well. Did you catch that? At one point I said, is this emulating Squid Game? And my husband was like, I don't know, maybe. And I think it was. If I'm wrong, let me know. We're talking about Squid Game. We're talking about the rich pitting the poor against one another so they kill each other off and they get to watch and enjoy it. Yeah, that was the whole thing. Oppression is multifaceted. Racism is systemic. Just because we are 50 plus years past the civil rights movement does not mean racism is gone. It is just changing shape. And a lot of the comments I'm seeing from folks are just overt racism. It's not an opinion on music. You're being racist. And I know you don't like to hear that because it makes you uncomfortable. But racism doesn't have to be dropping the hard R. And it also doesn't have to be intentional. You don't have to mean to be racist to actually be racist. You could be racist accidentally, but it's still your responsibility to fix it. It's still your responsibility to do the work to figure out what it is you're doing wrong. It's your job to listen. I have a responsibility to listen. I cannot speak for a community I don't belong to, and I don't intend to do that. I'm talking to you, people like me. We have a job here. Our job sometimes is to sit down, shut up, and listen. I know y'all don't like that. I know that makes you super uncomfortable because I used to be the same way. I did. So I get it. But at some point, we're going to have to acknowledge that not everybody out there has to be like us. Not everybody out there needs to have the same preferences as us. And I know you're going to turn around and say, well, then I can say I don't like that because we don't all have to be the same. You can say you don't enjoy something. It's not your preference. you didn't really like it or you didn't really understand it, without being hateful, without saying things like worst halftime show ever, or that's not real music, which I've seen all over Facebook this morning. Oh, I couldn't understand a word they said. Was they even speaking English? Here's the thing. You can say, hey, wasn't my cup of tea, but I can appreciate the artistry. But when you talk about a performance of that magnitude, the way that you are, one, you're showing your implicit biases, okay? You're showing that systemic racism that's deep down seated inside of you, okay? Because of being American. It's just something that we all bear, we all have to work on. Not only are you showing that, you do not sound intelligent. And I don't mean that to be like hateful. It's not a diss. I'm being honest with you. You come across as unintelligent because you're not willing to see past the difference in genre to appreciate what was done last night. You're not willing to look at something like that and recognize that it's not just a performance, it's a true protest. It was a message being sent. And you don't want to see that. I'm gonna stop talking now. It's been like 7 minutes. And if anybody actually watched all this, kudos, I think, because I'm sure the people that really need to hear this message tuned out a long time ago. And anybody who's still here probably already thinks, similarly to me. But I wish more white folks would listen. I wish more white folks would listen, because there's a lot we need to learn, and that's not a bad thing. We don't need to be ashamed that we need to learn. We just need to do the learning. And if we're willing to put in that work, there's plenty of people out there who are willing to share with us. But we have a responsibility to recognize our need for the
person of color. Your white people kind of are a reflection of you, which is why I believe in running a strict program, because it's like, dude, people have seen us together in public. Don't fucking embarrass me. Like, the idea of someone being like, oh, I was out and about and I saw one of Valentina's white people running amok. No, there's just no fucking way. Not one.
Half ago, I got back from my Watson Fellowship, which allowed me to do this global study on why everybody wants to be black. It's essentially the fetishization of blackness, or negrophilia for short. And I lived in a variety of places using a slow travel method, where basically I would live in each place 3 months and I would get into the roots of each community. So I lived in France, mostly Paris, then Japan, Tokyo and Osaka, then Korea, Seoul, visited Busan a bit, and then finally finished out in Portugal. But before that, I stopped by Thailand and the Philippines for a week each, just to have a comparison for East Asia. In general, I saw that blackness is something that's really commodifiable, right? Blackness is really niche, but it also has mass appeal. Everybody wants to buy into it and adopt from it, since blackness at this point is just seen as a very commercially successful product. Whether it's rooted in a culture or not, people want to buy into it. And this started from negrophilia is coined in 1920s Paris, where this is when many people were fleeing segregated south to have better opportunities within the Paris nightlife, and seeking jobs as musicians, singers, or just a variety of other jobs. But in proximity to that movement, and from a lot of black French people who were colonized coming to the country where they were colonized from, they were seen as a novelty, essentially. And then people who were the elites already had enough money, but they wanted more clout. And to get more clout and to really just be, innovative in their own heads, they were like, let's take on aspects from the stuff that we appropriated from the people we've colonized and people that we see as lesser, because honestly, we like what they do and we just want to have their proximity to make us seem cooler in our own groups, right? And this same thing is happening. You can see it in fashion brands. You can see this in even Louis Vuitton. This world-renowned fashion brand, lauded for its luxury, great items, etc., takes from the Maasai people and other African tribes who historically it has not been seen as the most thing that's really couture, right? But they've taken these patterns. Even the Louis V monogram is based in the Maasai people of like Tanzania and Kenya, right? But no credit has been given. And that's the problem with negrophilia. That's the problem with like cultural appropriation in general. Like, it's the power imbalance. It's like taking something from somebody else, but not giving them any credit and making money at their expense. I'm gonna go further into this. But since TikTok might get banned, follow me on Instagram or YouTube, which I'll actually be explaining this further. But yeah, this app may be closed down, so I need to actually like transition y'all to a new platform. So
Afro hairstyles have grown in popularity in Japan. A subculture known as B-style emerged, where young Japanese individuals adopted elements of black culture, including Afro hairstyles, to emulate their favorite American rappers. This trend involved darkening their skin and wearing various black braiding hairstyles, such as cornrows. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in Afro hairstyles among Japanese men. Afro perms have become a popular trend, with specialized barbers offering this unique hairstyle. Additionally, platforms have seen a significant number of posts under hashtags related to Afro hair in Japan, indicating a growing interest and appreciation for these styles within the Japanese community.
Not even trying to be funny with this post. Whatever happened to Jamaicans saying that I'm not black, I'm Jamaican? Whatever happened to Africans saying I'm not black, I'm from Africa? I'm not black, I'm from Nigeria? I'm not black, I'm from Ghana? I'm not black, I'm Liberian? I'm not black. Now all of a sudden y'all black Americans. Nah, y'all can't fool us. Y'all done heard about that 14th Amendment that Trump passed. And y'all heard that the black Americans are the actual true Americans of this country. So now y'all want to be black Americans to avoid from getting shipped off. Cause I could have sworn y'all would say, I ain't black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I'm not black, I'm Dominican. I'm not black, I'm from Nigeria. Now all of a sudden y'all black Americans. At first y'all would not claim black. Matter of fact, check the video I just posted before this one. And it's gonna show y'all saying it out y'all mouth that y'all not black. But all of a sudden y'all black American. Nah, that 14th Amendment
wants to be black until it's time to be black. It's the first day of Black History Month, so let's get into it. We see it all around us, right? People adopting aspects of black culture, music, fashion, slang. But when it comes to facing the harsh realities of racism and discrimination, suddenly it's crickets. You can't cherry pick the cool parts of a culture while conveniently ignoring the oppression and struggles that come with it. We need to move past the superficial and start amplifying black voices, challenging systemic racism, and actively fighting for equality. Where's the line between appreciation and appropriation in black culture?
Just saw a creator talk about how black people have gone underground recently, like, you know, like, you don't know what black people are wearing, you don't know what the trends are, this, that, the third, because, you know, they steal, they commodify, and then they capitalize off of us, and then they make everything way too expensive, and then we have to shift and find something else and new and different. I want to add to that, like, not only was the underground movement starting with the 92% when we said we're done with, like, doing everything after we voted and y'all did that to us, I think it also has to come into terms of erasure. They've been erasing us for the last, like, 3 years. So this is what I think about minorities in America. When minorities come to America, they must assimilate and they never get, like, an apology. So they're gonna face a lot of racist shit. Like, think about 2001. The amount of racist shit probably Middle Eastern descendants faced and still face, kinda, to this day in this country. No one's ever going to apologize to y'all about that. You're just the butt of the joke now because you've kind of assimilated. Look at Indians. They've kind of assimilated. They're the butt of the joke. I know y'all know about that Jet 2 holiday sound that was going around, and then white people was showing their Indian friends, and the Indian didn't know that the sound was going to have an Indian accent, and they were laughing at it. They were laughing with them, and they was maybe laughing uncontrollably, maybe laughing uncomfortably. But again, that's erasure. white people want to erase what they've done to us. That's what anti-critical race theory is. Like, being anti-black, being anti-critical race theory is like trying to erase the bad shit that they've done to us, because then they would have to acknowledge it and they would have to apologize. That's the thing. White people don't apologize about nothing. They ain't never apologized to the Asians for the Japanese internment camps, for the way that they treated them during the railroads. They never apologized to them, ever, and they never will. They want you to get over it so you could become the butt of the joke. That's it. And that's what's going on with Black Americans, but we're resisting it. We're very much resisting that erasure, and we're very much beefing with other races, and we're beefing with other people who they're using to represent us too, because again, they're also trying to erase us on the screen. They're erasing us with other blackness. And I could even go deeper to say, they do not want to ever see an enslaved descendant be successful, ever. Ever. They don't respect people who are slaves, and a lot of countries are like that too. They are not respectful of people who come from slave family, slave background, slave, all of that. They don't like that. At the end of the day, I truly think that Black people are going underground, not only because of last November, not only because of how sneakers were commodified, but because of erasure. We are actively being erased, and I think that it's very easy to see. Goodbye.
Okay, so last week, the Supreme Court decided that they were going to uphold a decision that allowed for Texas to use this new congressional map, this new gerrymandered congressional map, a whole new map drawn up by Trump's people. Yes, the person who drew it comes from Trump's camp. A whole new map that just so happens to eliminate already existing districts. Districts where the Black and the Latino combined makes the majority. Districts like Jasmine Crockett's. A 3-judge panel from the lower courts in Texas actually held a hearing in October to go over this new map to see if it actually violated anything. They said that it violated the Constitution by means of racial discrimination, also gerrymandering. Supreme Court said that's not enough. Let them proceed. Allows Texas State to use this new map that will literally eliminate the district that Jasmine Crockett serves in, thus forcing Jasmine Crockett out of her position, out of her congressional seat. Now, a lot of people are saying, damn, game over. Game over for Jasmine Crockett. You don't know what it's like being a Black woman. Because in true Black woman fashion, don't ever think that I only have one plan. Don't ever think that. Now, earlier, I was coming from the standpoint of, you know what, she's just going to have to find another district. She's going to have to figure out if she can serve there, if she wants to continue to be in Congress. But everybody else said, girl, it's chump change. Our girl going for the Senate now. She going to run for Senate. Now, look at how y'all done fucked up. Now, this portion that I'm about to share with you is rumored. It's rumored, but by God, fingers crossed, I hope it's true. Right? Allegedly. Jasmine Crockett is going to be sharing an announcement with us today around 4 or 5 p.m. You understand? Central Time. Revealing to the American citizens that she is going to be running for Senate. She said, y'all wanted to force me out my seat? Keep the cubicle. Give me an office. And this is what I mean by don't ever think as a Black woman, we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backup plans, baby. Because even if I don't get it on this try, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And I'm not going to lie. If that's really what she's doing, it's one hell of a chess move. One hell of a chess move. Considering it's the move that could help her get into the White House. So maybe we don't have anything to worry about. Because remember, Jasmine Crockett, she's a Black woman, which means she going to figure it out.
People can't really grasp the concept of being biracial but culturally Black, so I'm gonna give you my credentials. 1, I grew up with 6 Black grandparents. 6. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, and my great-great-grandparents. I spent weekends, holidays, and summers with them. Secondly, I grew up in a Black Baptist church where I got my first press and used to eat salmon croquettes every goddamn Sunday in that same basement. 3rd, because I grew up as a Black Baptist, I wasn't allowed to say the N-word because it was a cuss word. Not because I was biracial, because it was a cuss word. I literally did not start saying the N-word until we moved across the state. I knew my granny would beat my ass. 4th, I don't know if this one really counts, but I quite literally thought that my color would eventually come in. I thought I was going to be dark skinned like the rest of my family. No, it never did, as you can see. I was devastated when my granny told me it wasn't going to happen for me. I thought maybe she was wrong. She wasn't. Fifth, I literally grew up in black culture. Like, there wasn't anything else for me at all whatsoever. I can't tell you anything about my mom's culture. I haven't explored it. I didn't care to. I quite frankly don't want to. I am black. I grew up black. I wasn't told anything different. I wasn't treated like anything different. And this really don't have anything to do with like culturally being black, or more so colorism. But even me and my sisters, we were really, you're light skinned, now what? My dark skinned family did not play that shit. And as far as like eye color and hair texture, everybody in my family have hazel eyes and the same.
Divide or separate ourselves, we're standing up for ourselves. We've been telling people we have a culture, but they can't see it because it's so commercialized, and then it becomes accessible to everyone. So we don't have a culture to watch people take aspects of our culture and then erase our influence on the thing they just appropriated, like soul food. So these conversations are extremely important because this is a way that Black Americans avoid ethnocide and preserve parts of our culture that are unique and special to us. Every other culture in the world is allowed to do this. Every other culture in the world is allowed to gatekeep, but African Americans. And you can argue that we influence the world the most. Instead of looking for approval elsewhere, we started owning our own shit now, and now people are saying that we're being divisive. That's
I'm right here talking about another Mexican trying to be black. That's sad. That sounds a little racist to me, homeboy. Talking about that sad because I'm trying to be black. You know what I'm saying? Just because I got good taste, just because I know how to dress, just because I got gold on, I'm trying to be black. You don't make any sense. You just sound a lot of racist, man. I love my black people. I ain't got nothing against black people. So even if I acting like I'm black or I dress like I'm black, there's nothing wrong with that. Because I look like I have style and I have good taste and I got gold on. You a hater. Get off my page, man. Get off my page, please.
I like to point out the fact that the only reason Black Americans, I'm not going to call them African Americans anymore. The only reason Black Americans are so hurt by Tyler, right? And hate her so much is because blackness is so fragile in America. It's very fragile. And now here comes this girl from Africa who doesn't have a struggle story. She worked hard, and I'm not taking that away from her, but she doesn't have a struggle story in the way that Black Africans usually do when they go to America. America is not the promised land for her. And she's not relying on any parts of her blackness to be successful in that space. She's very proud and comfortable in her colored heritage and lineage, which does have blackness in it. But again, we're not, doing all of that. But yeah, Americans had to fight really hard to cultivate a sense of culture and identity with blackness. And yeah, I mean, we're from Africa. Like, black is the default. So I don't think any of us struggle when it comes to our black identity. We're still following the traditions and the cultures of our ancestors from years and years and years ago, centuries ago. Have things evolved? Yes, but our basic practices, you go culture to culture, you see the similarities, and you date it back, you see how far back it goes. So I think let's not be angry at them, guys. Okay, the conversation around blackness for them is so triggering because blackness is such a fragile, sensitive thing for them. Not to mention, remember, we're talking to people who had a system of the one drop rule, which means if you had a octoroon of black, it's gonna be mentioned. And here comes Tyler, who is a colored girl from South Africa. And I mean, if we're talking about words being racist, I mean, colored was a classification that came about in apartheid. But we're not heated. We're never heated about it, I just think it's a little bit crazy that they can reclaim the N-word, but they want to be mad when someone uses the word colored to refer to herself, because that's what her identity is. I'm going to repeat again, I don't know if Americans realize that identity is a social thing. And it really does depend on your environment. But just because it's a social thing that depends on your environment doesn't mean that when you change your environment, people are going to change how you identify or what you view yourself as. So yeah, man, guys, let's not be mad at them. It's okay. We're all uppity Africans, entitled uppity Africans. You know, we all stand behind Tyler. And now it's not just South Africans standing behind Tyler. It's a whole lot of Africans standing behind Tyler. Number one, because of the fact that she spoke out about how we're always miscategorized. She's very polite. South Africans are very polite people. I've always heard everybody that comes to South Africa say that we're very polite people, which is something they're not accustomed to. Even Black Americans who have traveled here have said that. So, not too much on my girl. You know, she said her pleases, her sorries, and her thank yous. They're just mad because she will never say that she's Black. But she will continue to exist in Black spaces because she does share in Blackness. They just don't understand that. And that's okay. That really is okay. I don't think we should be trying to change their minds about her. We just need to continue to support her. That's it. We just need to continue to stand behind her. She's doing great. She's repping us well. She's repping the whole continent well. And shout out to African Americans, Black Americans, for allowing us to have a moment to kind of just stand together as African brothers and sisters. That's been fun, you know, especially since it's over music, something that we as Africans love so much. So thanks, guys.
Welcome back, guys, and I hope you guys have seen all of that video. Even if you like, as you're watching me as an African person, say every single thing that they said is absolutely wrong. You are on your own. Because yes, everything they said in this video is right. Especially from that first clip that I played, where this guy literally talked about inferiority complex. The guy even forgot to add jealousy and idolizing people they do not want to idolize. They are not supposed to idolize. That is one of the biggest problems of African migrants that are moving to other countries. Not recognizing the effort of people that belts what they are actually enjoying. Jealousy. You're looking at them. We are the same skin type. So why do I need to ask? Why do I need to take permission? Why do I need to? See, I'm so excited when Black Americans are speaking out. Not with the way they are speaking out, I'm so excited. Because I've seen different videos on this app where literally Africans and even white folks have been able to talk down Black Americans so much. They've been able to talk down on them to the point that it's now looking like Black Americans do not even know what to do. I will still advise you, please speak up. Please speak up. Nothing should limit you in not saying whatsoever you're supposed to say as a Black American. Because you have these immigrants coming to enjoy every sweat that these people have put into work. But at the end of the day, these same people that are enjoying are the same people that will talk down on these people, that will say a lot of trash about these people. Is that bad? And I can put, a lot of time I do put Black Americans in my shoe. And I'll be like, okay, let me just assume I'm Black American and someone is just coming into Nigeria and looking down on me, calling me lazy, calling me names, while I know that behind the scene, I know the struggles I go through. I know the struggles I go through to put out content here. Some days I'm sick. Some days I'm not strong, but I have to, because if I don't do it, who will? And someone will just sit down there and then call all my work that I'm putting into, all my effort I'm putting into my work, calling it empty, calling it not knowing what I'm supposed to do, just calling it a lot of names. And you think I'm going to be happy with that person? And then to top it all, and I'll find out that that person is an immigrant. Hell will be let loose that day. So it is good that when things like this are happening, Black Americans speak up as well. Speak up. Do not let them think that you don't have voices. The fact that you guys are keeping quiet and you want peace in every environment, I am an advocate for peace, please. Do not get me wrong. I love peace and unity. But there is a limit to every single thing. There is a limit to what people can take. There is a limit to what people can endure. There is a limit to every single thing that everybody can take. Every single time you keep hearing this person talking about Black American this, Black American that, Black American East, Black American West, Black American North, Black American South. But the people that are giving them the real trouble, the people that are giving them the real racism, the people that are making them to see pepper, to see fire, they don't talk about those people. They idolize those people so much. And they see them, they want to bow down before them as if they are the author and the finisher of their faith. Why ignoring every single struggle that Black Americans have? In fact, if you're watching this video and you're an immigrant in America, respect yourself. Respect yourself. You're even supposed to go and look for Black Americans as your friends, as people you can help, as people you people can share ideas together. Not idolizing people that will not add anything or contribute anything to your life. But anyways, like I said, this is just for educational purpose. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. Please let me know what you think about this video, especially as an immigrant, as an African staying in America, as an American person, as a Black American person, as a white American that do not support evil as well. I want to get your thoughts in the comment section. And yes, if you've not subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments. And lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys.